while, but I'm back. I've done absolutely no prep for this, but it's the last thing anyone requested that I model, so I'm just going to do it and explain what I do on the way. Might be a long video because I haven't planned this at all, but let's give it a crack. So what I'm going to do today is model a longboard with some longboard concave, so downhill specific board. It's going to have, I'm going to do deep tub concave, no actual flat in the center of the board, but pretty close to it, and then accelerate the concave up the edges. I imagine it's what you might expect to find on like a rain longboard or something similar. So let's jump in. I'm going to define a sketch on my front plane. So and that's going to have a center line on it, and I'll hit the X key to make it a reference line, or whatever it's called, construction line. I'm using the new display here. I'm not sure I like the constraints up here, but it hasn't gotten in the way too much, so I'm sure it's going to be fine. I'm just going to use radial bends for everything, so you could use splines and stuff to do this, but I'm not going to. So I'm just going to start with some arcs. So start at the center point, and it's going to be made up of 3 arcs. There's going to be one arc that is the center of the board, one that's the where that arc starts to accelerate up, and then one that's sort of going to be the edge of the board, and also what the runoff would be on the side of the board when you press the blank. So it's going to start out as a rectangle of wood. You're going to cut out the board from that, and there's going to be a little bit of overhang on that edge. Alright, so first thing to do is to define where your concave is going to be. Like the 18mm deep concave on a 9.75 inch wide deck is pretty normal, so I'm just going to define a couple of those points. Make these vertical and horizontal, and then also going to define that line there, bring that down, make that a reference line. This is a reference line, and so is this. That's going to be, I'm going to call that 19 deep, and I'm going to say that is, I'm actually going to do this from the center line. So select the center line, this guy, right click, diameter, and that's 9.75 inches. Whoops, fuck that one up. D, center line to this guy. Try again. D, this guy, right click, center line, and 9.75 inches. Nice. So this has colossally fucked up my design so far, but that's okay. It's resurrectable. So I'm going to make this line tangent to this line, because you don't want some weird feature in the center of your deck. So now that's up here. This is going to be, we need a bunch of tangent constraints on these, but I'll leave this one unconstrained for now, because sometimes, see, like if you're dragging around elements, sometimes they can just get all fucked up and weird, so no deal. I'm going to make this diameter something really stupidly big to start with, so it's essentially flat, and then I'll make this guy something manageable. Let's say that's 100. And this guy as well, we'll make that stupidly big. Nope, didn't like that. I'll define the center of the concave now. So, the more flat section is going to be like 120 mil wide. That should be fine. And then this guy. Now I'm going to make this tangent because I think it's locked down enough to be kind of stable. Is that alright? So yeah, that's our aggressive one. And the reason that's so weird is because this isn't a large enough one. Here we go. So bring this back down, and this might seem like a big rigmarole and it's all seeming way too hard and weird, but it'll clean up. So now I've got a center concave that's super flat, and I'm going to redefine that. I guess that's this one. Should have made these different numbers, but 500. Yeah, so we're picking up a little bit. And this guy, that was the 100, so that's probably still fine. And this edge one, I'll make that 1,000. Cool, so that's looking, probably want this a bit flatter. So the higher this number, the flatter the center of the concave is. So I'm going to say 800. Yeah, it's starting to get there. So it's a really mild radial, a bit of a transition, and then into a bit of a flat as you approach that 19 mil. So there's quite a large area of quite flat stuff. So I might actually make this, bring this down to say 600. There we go. So then I'm also going to, should have done this earlier, but going to make this, defines the width of the blank that the board would be cut out of. So 300 mil wide is pretty normal. And this dimension's only here to act as sort of a guide for me. It's not actually driving anything, as you can see. So now I'm going to define an offset, some offset geometry from this, from these lines, and that's going to give me the bottom surface of the board. So in my sketch tools, I'm going to create, and where's offset? Spline, slot, polygon. I'm sure offset's on here somewhere. Sketch dimensions, script. It's probably looking right at me. Rectangle. Project, include, mesh. What the fuck? Create, modify. Offsets, and then modify now, okay. Modify. Let's bring this out. Now, because I made that tangent, that center line, that means that this point here, right at the edge, is going to be directly below this. If I hadn't made that tangent, it might be off here or over here, but yeah, we're all good. So we'll say that our layup for this deck is going to be 12 millimeters thick. Maybe, yeah, I don't know, let's go half an inch, because we'll be friendly to the imperial people around. 25.4 over 2. And now we'll just close up the sketch. And there we go, so that's half our deck. I could mirror it in the sketch, but and that would work fine, but I'm actually gonna do it later, just because I'm gonna mirror the whole body once I've done all the wheel wells and stuff. So based on that, I'm then going to extrude that. And I'll say that my blank, which has no effect on the size of the board, is going to be 850 long, yeah, just like I had before. And I won't go the negative direction, I'll go positive. Actually, no, I do want to go negative, so I'll edit that, because I want the front to be 0 of the board, and not have the, yeah, basically that's it. I want the front to be 0 and the back to be negative. Minus 850. Cool. Okay, so at this point you could go, well, I have a board, I have a shape. I could start generating holes for hardware and things like that, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to jump into making the shape of the board. So that's going to be if you were looking down at it, what you'd actually see. So on the top plane now, I'll rotate this around so I'm looking at it the right way. I'm going to start a new sketch. So I kind of don't like how there's no longer a button here that says start sketch, but it's okay. So gonna go grab this top plane and create a sketch, and I'm gonna pick up a few things. I'm just gonna bring them into the sketch using the project tool, which is P, and I'm gonna start my sketch. So I'm going to make sort of a snub-nosy looking board. I've made a couple of these designs before. A guy called, I actually forgot the guy's name, but he runs a company called Acid Longboards in Hamilton. He makes super cool boards. So I'm going to do the same thing. I could be using splines to do this, but I'm just not going to. I'm going to use arcs. Yeah, 3-point arcs all over the show. So first thing is that's going to be tangent. And then I'm going to start, actually I'm going to start building this out of straights, and then use arcs to fill them in. All right, and I'm also going to turn on, just have a look at this other sketch that I did. Ooh, I've started drawing on the wrong end. Okay, I'll restart this. Don't like doing that. Ow. So I'm going to pull in this line here. I'm going to project that point in because I know that's the width of my deck. And then I'm going to turn off that sketch and make a vertical line here so I know that's the widest point on my deck. Make it a reference drawing up at the top. Oh, come on, you bastard. Vertical. Okay, now I'm going to start on this design. Now, guaranteed not everyone's going to like this design, but oh well. It's a pretty classic one. Pretty typical, a little bit Vanguard-y. A little bit Avenger-y? Yeah, a little bit Avenger-y for the people who remember that deck. Okay, now onto sketching. I'm still getting used to where these tools are with the new sort of in development interface change. Little curve there, little curve there. Okay, and there. I am not going to define all of these any of these particularly well. You can do that on yours because I'm sure you have a design in mind, and that's not the point of this video. Alright, so now we can turn off this body that I've been looking at, and you see that's the new shape of my deck. Let me actually, so I put this line in here so I know I would hit it, so I might as well put it in there. So now I know that the widest point on my deck is 9.75 inches, and yeah. So now you can just play with these and generate whatever shape you want. Cool, so I'll turn back on my body, and what I'll actually do, I could do like define an area around this to make a cut with, but actually I'm going to be lazy and make another body and then do do a combine. I don't usually do it this way, but you know, who cares? So body, like that, do a create command, solid, press pull. Volume, body, object you're creating is not visible. Okay. Oh yeah, okay, that's why. So I'm gonna do a new body, and this can be anything really. I'll make it 100. And I'll also make it go the other way. So feature, make it symmetric, why not? So now you can see that it kind of shows the two processes that would have been done so far in the manufacturing procedure. We would have pressed our blank, and now we want to cut this shape out of this. And the way I'm going to do it in Fusion is a bit not quite the normal way I'd usually do it, but it's working so far, and I'm just going to continue along with it. So combine, and I'll target body is this guy, and tool bodies is this guy, and I want to use the intersection of that. And yeah, why not? We'll turn it into a component at this stage. Actually, no, screw it. Do that. Cool. There we go. So look at that. It's already looking a bit like a skateboard. I can then go through and add some radii. I imagine external radii are going to be a bit different to the internal ones. So do these first. Maybe 10s. Yeah, that looks alright. These internals will make them a bit bigger for strength. Let's make it 20. Sure, that's a good looking board. Okay, now I'm going to do some wheel wells. Now there's plenty of ways to do wheel wells. You could do them, yeah, there's a shitload of ways to do wheel wells, but I'm going to do them a really easy to model way, and then a way that results in some pretty big wheel wells that would give you good clearance. And if you're cutting these out on a CNC, you could do this. Yeah, it depends on how you're making them, what tools you got, but this is a way to model them at least. So I'm going to start a new sketch, and I'm just going to basically draw on the, actually I'll project this line in. Can you pick up that edge? Can't quite pick up the very end of that, so I won't actually do that. I'll do it the old-fashioned way. So I'm just going to freeball this and not do dimensioning, even though if you're doing this, absolutely you should dimension it. And there we go. Make this vertical. We'll dimension these from the center. That can be down 15 and across. Sure, let's make it 60. This can come in at a pretty aggressive angle, maybe 45. And this needs to match pretty closely with the wall. Yeah. So we'll do that. This is going to be a pretty thin wall, right at the right at where we are doing these like that. This part here, that little corner is going to be a bit susceptible to getting damaged, but if you're using hard rock maple, should be right. Okay, so solid, create this guy that way, and you can see we've taken a bunch of material out. Obviously straight lines on boards like this isn't the coolest, but there's a way to fix that. So yeah, so let's say that I have deduced that I'm going to have wheel mounting options. That mean that I need my wheel well to come back to about here, and then I'm also going to edit this face. Is there a move? Yeah, move command. I'm gonna rotate it around around this axis. Why not? There we go. It's looking a bit cooler. Boom. Now to make this manufacturable, we're going to add some radii and stuff. So I'll radius this edge first. Yeah, radius this edge first. And that 20. And that edge there we'll also do 20. Can I do it in the same one. Oops. Yeah, do this one first. Okay. 1, 5, 20. Yeah, and then this guy. 1, 5, 20, 10. 5. Cool. So that would depend on what kind of tool you're using to cut it, but sure, that works. And now I'm going to see if I can mirror that over to the back. I kind of doubt it's going to work, but we'll see. So I'm going to construct a plane, place it about central, and then I'm going to create mirror. I'm going to mirror some features, and the objects that the features that I want to mirror are that. Yep. Mirror plane is there. It's looking a bit weird. Boom. That looks pretty cool, actually. I'm surprised. I reckon that's probably not the best way to do it, but it's resulted in something that looks pretty sweet. I think that angle, that rotate command has been reversed, but screw it. I think that's pretty cool. And then for the pièce de résistance, we just need a mirror around the center axis. So create a mirror, and we'll do bodies. That seems to be pretty stable. Mirror plane, there we go, okay. And then how many bodies do we have? We've got 2 bodies, left and right. We're just gonna merge them, combine them, and we're gonna do join, and we'll do new component. Join, okay. There we go. So that is a pretty sweet looking skateboard, if you ask me. Turn that off. Where's this? It's in construction. The tail definitely looks a bit weird, but yeah, check that out. I think that is pretty cool. Obviously hardware required. That's Googleable dimensions and super easy to make, so I won't do that for you. I'll chuck it in render space and see if my computer can hack it. Oh, actually, change the material. My unsaved, which I will actually save as a longboard. And I'll change it to I'll just put it in video models, save. Okay, I'm going to change the bloody material, physical material, wood, and I'll make it pine. Is it maple? Probably isn't. Oh, maple. Is that right? Looks a bit odd. Oh well. Yeah, that's maple apparently. Okay, and off to the render space. Boom, that looked cool. Okay, and we'll set this going. Yep, that tail definitely needs a rework. But yeah, that's yeah, I think this video processing is struggling, but yeah, that's how to model a longboard. You can see pretty much what these things end up looking like in computer land. Yeah, I think that's sweet. Another view. Okay, thanks for watching. With this laggy input from my graphics card struggling. Yeah, thanks for watching, and let me know if you want me to model something else. Hopefully I can help out. Cheers, bye.